Hello everybody and welcome to Overcast. It's time for another episode, and it's the 34th episode of Overcast, your source for Overwatch news. Glad to be here with you. I'm Frostee, and I am so excited to be back. I spent the last week in Atlanta, like I said, so I apologize for not being able to hang out with you and talk Overwatch with you, but that means we got lots of other news to talk about, doesn't it? But thank you for being here. I just want to let you know you can always connect with me and the show, of course, on Twitter. You can go to @OvercastShow. You can also go to theovercastshow.blogspot.com. You can find links to the things we talked about in the show. If there's any big stuff, we'll, of course, link it on the blog. And also, thank you for being here, whether you're listening on iTunes, Stitcher, or Podbean, or whether you're watching it here on YouTube, or anywhere else somehow happening. If you're just subscribed to our feed, thank you very much for doing that. Make sure you also go and check out our Facebook page. And also remember to go to FrozenFoxRadio.com, where you can check out information about this and all the other shows that the Frozen Fox Radio Network has to offer, because we have a lot of cool stuff going on. It's a lot of cool stuff. What I've been up to, though? Oh, man. I don't know if you can tell by the way I sound. I sound like garbage right now. But I went to the con. Me and my wife were in Atlanta the other day. We were at a convention. And I try to do the preemptive strike. I try to take vitamins and airborne. I'm like killing myself, just pumping myself full of this. And about halfway through the con, I started to feel like that burn in my throat. Like my nose was starting to get a little stuffy, and I was like, oh no. And try to kick it into overdrive. I thought maybe I just talked really too long and too loud. It wasn't it. It's gone. I fought it. I've been like, this little. Not a product placement, but this little airborne guy. He's been my friend. That and this box of tissues. That's been my only friends the last few days. As much as I've tried to fight it, the cold has made its advance, and it is now residing in my sinuses, which has basically turned my nose into a spigot. So I don't know what to do about that other than just wait it out. I'm waving the white flag at this point, thinking, I've tried to fight. Just do what you wish. Just do what you wish, because getting toward the end of the semester, last semester, I had like a huge cold right in the middle of finals, and it was terrible. So right now, if I can get this out of the way and get better, then I'll be all set, because finals is only in a couple weeks. So I guess it's better now than later on. So we'll look at it that way. But the convention was fantastic. Atlanta was great. Got to have some amazing pizza from Da Vinci's. I love having that. That's just kind of like the normal thing. My wife and I will go and have Da Vinci's there. Actually, we had it twice, so it was fantastic. I got to see some other artists and friends that we have, and it was just a great time. Other than that, just trying to catch up with beta, trying to kind of get in game and get some game time under my belt and figure out what's going on and feel out the changes. And a lot of the changes have been, I don't know, for the game, earth-shattering. I don't know. So for some people, some things are pretty huge. We've been waiting for some things for a while, and they're happening. So we're going to jump right into it. But there's something else on my mind that I wanted to get to first and foremost, and that is BlizzCon. BlizzCon was officially announced. It was leaked before. Kind of, everybody's like, "Oh, is it really? Is the leak real?" Well, usually when somebody leaks it on their own page, it's probably going to be real. Just waited for the time to announce, and of course it was announced. BlizzCon will be November 4th and 5th, so my wife's happy. It's her birthday. She gets to actually have BlizzCon for her birthday instead of like a travel day to BlizzCon. So that's exciting, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Just make sure if you want to go, because I'll be there. I'll be there waiting to see you, all your smiling, happy faces, and you make sure you get your tickets. You can do that on April 20th at 7 p.m. Pacific time, or on the 23rd at 10 a.m. Pacific time. That's the two sales dates for the regular tickets. I think after that you can get the charity dinner tickets. The interesting thing about the ticket prices this year, they're still $199. Sometimes you think that there's going to be that price increase as time goes on. It didn't happen this time. It's kind of a surprise. So we have peaked out BlizzCon ticket prices, apparently. But if you want to go to the charity dinner, I think it's still a whopping $750. Maybe if I ever become a rich lawyer, I will be able to do that. I would love to do it, honestly, but we'll see. We'll see if I ever get to have that chance. So, BlizzCon is huge. Like I said, I'll be there. I don't know if Chris will be able to make it or not. I haven't talked to him. He lives right near the convention area anyway, so I'd assume that he will at least make an appearance, if not be at the con the whole time. It's going to be another exciting, super fun BlizzCon. And wherever we are, you can always follow the show Twitter. You can follow my Twitter. You can see it all right here on the screen, and or on the blog page, or wherever. If you're listening to us, the audio version, you can go to our blog page and find all the links to our social media and everything. So, it's a long way away, but I'm super excited to see as many of you as I can. Last year was fantastic getting to host a show at World of Podcasts for Calm Before the Storm. I know that they are working hard on a new set of what they're going to do this year and how they're going to run everything. So if we're involved in any of that, I will definitely let you know as things develop. So that is that. I wanted to make sure that I got the BlizzCon announcement out of the way first. It's not directly Overwatch, but it's still pretty huge. That's right. So on to the big news that a lot of people really want to see, and that is the fact that a few new patches have dropped since the last show. The most recent one bringing into the game competitive play, so now you can get in the game and play in a more competitive environment. It plays a little bit different. There's a little bit of kind of wrangling of how they have to kind of figure out how to make it evaluate how competitive you are and how good you are. But you can get in there, and you got to run like a set of matches and things like that when you do it. When we get that in just a second. You have to be level 25 though to be able to queue for competitive play. So you won't even be able to unless you're level 25. And once you're in there, you can compete. You can rank up. There's like divisions and tiers, and apparently there's going to be monthly seasons when the game launches. I don't know. I assume that like that's going right now, but how that's going to work. So we will see if that's going to be how it proceeds forward. But with that, there was a kind of like a splash screen that was added to the game to let people know, what's going on when you go into competitive play. And there was like a little splash screen that'll pop up and say, this is how it works, because it works a little bit differently. So, you go to quick match, you can just play like whatever, you can just leave. But in competitive play, you got to play multiple rounds, because that's how you figure out the winner, and that's how you figure out who ranks. So when you play control maps, you play a best of 5 series. On other maps, your team plays on 1 round each as offense and defense, and then if there's a tie, the match does a sudden death on a single objective on a control map, and that's how it's determined. So it's kind of cool. It's kind of like laying out the foundation of what the official, I guess you could say, way of doing things will be. They've also added with that different penalties for leaving games. So it's competition and competitive play. You want to make sure you ensure people stay in there, and if they leave, that they're going to be punished because they're going to kill you. Like I talked about in the last episode, when people leave, just like destroys your team. So there's going to be a leaver penalty. If somebody leaves a game, or I think this goes for everybody, but I think with competitive play it's a little bit different. So they kind of changed some of the leaver penalty stuff. If the player's game completion percentage falls below a set threshold, which they did not reveal, they'll receive a warning about it based on their most 20 recent games. And then if they continue to leave games, they'll have a 75% XP penalty for future games. And that's a lot. So if you're trying to level up or anything like that, that's going to be pretty harsh. Once you raise your competitive, or your completion percentage above whatever the threshold is actually going to be, then they will remove the penalty at that point. And also, you're going to be counted as inactive if you don't leave the starting area after 45 seconds. But that doesn't count if you are still selecting a hero. So you can still be selecting a hero. You won't be counted as inactive. If you are inactive, though, you will be considered an AFKer, and you'll be booted. So, and then penalized, I'm assuming, for that because of that. Competitive play, though, is going to have additional rules and additional penalties when you leave games. That should be, those kind of games is where it should be the harshest, but I don't think I've seen any announcement, or at least an official thing, of what it will be like if you start leaving these competitive things. So we will just have to kind of wait and see on that. They made some hero changes. Some of the hero changes are Ice Wall for Mei can now be destroyed early by activating the ability again. And Mercy had a lot of changes, so this is kind of different to play. It was really easy to feel a lot of these changes, and some of them were awesome quality of life. The blaster now, it will automatically reload when you're not in use, which is cool because sometimes if you use it, if you don't reload, because you're usually going to switch back to the staff really quick, if you put it away, what happens is then it'll automatically just kind of refresh its bullets. You just swap it back out. So that way you don't like fire a bunch of shots, put it away so you can heal, and then get it out later and you have like 2 shots left, because that's supremely annoying. Let's see, what else was it? Oh, there was the change to the staff. You can swap between healing and damage without losing the target. So if you're like a bunch of people together, you don't have to worry about like missing and hitting somebody else. You can still just swap between it, with the click of the mouse. Super convenient. Guardian Angel received like the biggest changes, though. Really, I think that was like the main thing that I was concerned with, and you can feel it. It's really a big change. They say that the range was increased slightly, but in the game it feels like the range was increased a lot. Like I feel like I'm flying a lot further to these people. It's really convenient. The cooldown was decreased by about a half a second, so it's only 1.5 seconds now. And they said it can destroy environmental objects. If you're flying at high speed, you like crash through stuff. It does not work on like ice barrier though, or maze wall and all that. It doesn't affect that apparently, because I was in a match just a few minutes ago, and I flew into one. Didn't matter. So I was like, okay, we know that will not be destroyed. And then you can cancel it by using the ability again. And it seems like it's faster now too. So that's one thing that it didn't say in the patch notes that I saw, but it feels like it's faster. I feel like I'm flying faster. Maybe it's because it's farther. I don't know exactly how that works. Then of course you can cancel it. So if you're in the middle of flight, you can just stop flying, and that's it's a bunch of quality of life improvements. Symmetra, her photon shield, the amount is reduced from 50 to 25, so it's been halved. That's going to be a pretty big thing. It's kind of like her win rate's so high, they're going to try to get her out of the games. One of the things I've noticed really is that like Mei has been in every game I've played in. Everybody wants to play Mei now. The rivet gun for Torbjorn also is kind of like Mercy's gun. It'll now reload when not in use, so that's kind of cool. Like little quality of life things. I don't think it really matters that much. In the long run, for the player, it matters a lot because it's like a big quality of life convenience thing. But in the end, it's kind of like, that's cool. Torbjorn's turret is what's going to rip you apart most of the time anyway. So I think that's why they kind of just said, it's all right. We'll just since we have more than one weapon or whatever at our disposal, then we're gonna let you have a little bit of an easier time with that. Let's see. Also, if you pre-ordered the Origins Edition, this latest patch made it so that you can now access the skins and everything that you got with the Origins Edition. Since the skins are, of course, already in the game, you now have access to them. It kind of brought that online. So that's really nice to have. You can, if you already pre-ordered, you're able to access stuff which was already in the game, at least in the beta, and now you can have it for real. And of course, when it goes live, you'll have it and be all happy with that. Other side notes for the week. There was a vlog that Blizzard did. I'm not going to go into super long detail about it, but they did do a thing about netcode and how it works, how the servers calculate, where players are. There's a lot of technical stuff, and I'm not going to go and explain it. I would say go and watch it. I'll link it in the blog page this week, so you can go and just watch it for yourself. But they do a fantastic job of kind of just laying out, if you don't know how server architecture works, maybe not server architecture, but just kind of like how the what's the best word I want to put on it? The way that the pipeline works when you're playing a first-person shooter, especially like Overwatch, how the server knows where you are, how the client and the server interact and all that. And, even when it comes down to like shooting rockets or shooting bullets and things like that, how is this calculated? If you want to know about that, this is the place to do it. On top of that, they made it so that, because there's different network issues, of course, they're probably always trying to iron out, they made it so that you can hit Control-Shift-N, and you'll have a network graph pop up to help you kind of watch your latency and detect if there's any kind of networking issues. There's a network status icon, so it'll let you know whether you're doing good or if it's detecting like a problem with your network connectivity. So if your connection's getting broken up, it'll let you know of that. And also they said they improved the regularity of player commands being sent from the client to the server. So from your client end to the server, they improved the flow of that. And I can't remember if they talked specifically about that, but I think they did mention they mentioned how it works, of course, in that vlog I talked about, but they just kind of letting you know in the patch notes that that's how it works. So I'd encourage you to go watch it. It's kind of an interesting thing. So it lets you know in your mind when you're playing your game and you see on your screen what's actually going on, on the background and also with other players. Like, so you can kind of see how you all interact with this big server and then play this awesome game together. The controversial note of last week, which we missed because we didn't have the show last week, was the tracer pose. The over-the-shoulder pose was removed because of the complaints that was on there. I didn't really. I guess I'll give my 2 cents just because I'm bringing the topic up in the first place, and that is that I didn't think it really needed to be removed for sure. I mean, I think that it was fine. Apparently, even in Blizzard, though, internally, they thought it was kind of a weak pose. And they did add a replacement pose this week, which, honestly, I think it looks better. And I think it's much more of her character and everything. And it sounds like a lot of people are happy with that. And I'm happy with it. It looks fine. I mean, I didn't see the big, huge problem that it turned into. It turned into a massive internet issue. And I didn't think that it needed to be that big, at least for the reasons that were stated in the comment that kind of spurred the whole thing. But that was just kind of how I felt. But in the end, I think we got a better pose out of it anyway. So I think everybody can be happy. But there was a lot of jokes and a lot of pictures and art that other people made that was kind of funny about it. So if you go and check out like our Twitter feed or a lot of other podcasts or anything like that, then you can go and check out all the fun for yourself. But there you go. If you're a Tracer player, I'd like to know what you feel about that, though, especially if you had that pose. Like, do you feel like you got robbed because the pose that you like got taken away? Or do you think the new one's better? I'd like to hear about it. So let's see. The next thing is there was on Overpwn, they data mined, I don't know if it's them, I'm assuming it's them, but all the borders, the portrait borders for players have been data mined all the way up to level 1,890. So that's 190 borders. So every 10 levels you get a new kind of frame around your character, around your hero, and every time you get 100 levels, then it moves up to a different color or kind of like a different style, and that goes, on forever, it seems like. And I thought, wonder how long it's going to take for somebody to hit level 1890. So I'm curious how long it will take, because I guarantee you it's not going to take as long as a lot of people think. It'll take a long time, but somebody's going to go out there and do it, whether they have to account share or if they're botting. Like, I'm pretty sure it will happen somehow, and it'll probably be faster than we can anticipate. Just have to see, have to kind of calculate out in our mind, I guess, how long it would possibly take at the minimum, and then we'll see. But how much time you'd have to put in the game. Let's see. Oh, and on a side note, the Blizzard had some people come over and play the game on console. I had tried to talk to them about this, and they never gave me a definite response. And I think it's probably because I live in Alabama too. They don't really they wanted me to have to travel across country, and they know I'm busy anyway, so I probably wouldn't even have time. But some, not a bunch, but some Overwatch content creators and YouTubers and other people got invited to Blizzard. I don't know if it was Blizzard US or if there was some of the European office or not. I'm trying to figure that out still. But they did get invited to Blizzard to play the game on console. And I want to direct you over to Overwatch Central. And so Ryan and Miska, they talk about their experience with it a lot better than I could, since I just watched their video about it. So I will link that in the blog page this week, and you can go and check out their review of what it feels like to play Overwatch on a console with a controller instead of being able to play with a mouse and keyboard. Very interesting take on it. I was very intrigued to see what it was going to be like, and their feelings kind of seemed like what I thought I would feel like if I was playing it, on a console. And so go and see for yourself. So they're awesome guys. So go and check out their channel. We're hoping to get them on the show one day. So if you guys are watching right now, I'm on the hunt. You know that. I've been trying to message you. Well, I have been messaging you. And let's see. I think I'll wrap everything up with the fact that they had the premiere of the new short Alive. And this was kind of like the answer to Recall. So Recall was the Xbox one. Alive was the PlayStation one. And now we got these two out there. So this was Widowmaker and Tracer, and it's a cool story. I'm not, should I say it's a spoiler? I don't know. I don't want to spoil it really or anything like that. But it was a really cool little animated short, and it looks fantastic. I love like the Widowmaker speech that she kind of talks in the background, the voiceover that you hear, and everything with that is, I love it. And Tracer's character, I think really shines through as well, and I think you'll really enjoy it. So go and check it out. I'll link that on the page as well. You can go and see for yourself what it is, what it's all about. With that said, I think that brings me to the end of the show. I don't really have any other news I want to cover. I'm kind of, my brain is a little foggy just because my sinuses are just going crazy anyway. So I do apologize if I missed anything or misstated anything this week. I will make sure I rectify that as I either edit it or when I come back here next week for the show and I have a lot more to cover with you. I'm planning, now that I've got my paper all written that I was talking about the last few shows, I'll have a lot more time to kind of get into the game and hopefully kind of tell you more about what it feels like to play competitive play and be able to talk with Chris about that next week here on the show. So remember, until then, you can always go to Twitter and you can follow us at Overcast Show. You can also go to theovercastshow.blogspot.com, where I'll link all the things I talked about today on the blog page so you can see for yourself. You can also go check us out on our Facebook page. And thank you for listening to the audio version of the show, whether it's on iTunes, Stitcher, or Podbean. And thank you for watching the YouTube version of the show as well. So you can see my mug, you can see my tracers hanging out over here. So thank you very much, however you are consuming the show. Also, before I say anything else, go to FrozenFoxRadio.com. You can learn about this and all the other shows that the Frozen Fox Radio Network has to offer. We've got 4 shows running right now, and it's a big explosion of awesome news. Whether it's Blizzard news or it's just general gaming news, you can get your fix there. So go ahead and head out and do that. Thank you again for joining for the 34th episode of Overcast. So glad that you could be here. I'm Frosty, and I'll catch you on the flip side.